south.
Negative.
Yeah, vacuum. So if that's the case, if this is compression, and right here, it's hard to see, would you agree that's the exhaust ramp? Huh? If that's the exhaust ramp, here's the exhaust plateau, right about here, the intake valve should open and the piston should descend on induction stroke, right? We're cranking now. So doesn't it make sense that this negative going pull would be for the piston right here? So here's a pull for this cylinder. So here's cylinder number one, compression stroke, which if you were looking at an ignition strike for a sink, it would happen here. Does the induction stroke for this cylinder happen here?
No.
No, it's 360 degrees out of phase. If here's 0 and here's 720, halfway is 360. The first pull after the 360 mark is the pull for this cylinder. So that is something you want to write down. The first pull, after the 360 mark is the pull for your reference cylinder. You can word that however you want, however you're going to remember it.
So that's a critical bit of information, that, isn't it?
It is, because it doesn't matter if it's a 4-cylinder engine, a 6-cylinder, an 8-cylinder, a 12-cylinder. We know we have to complete an engine cycle with 720 degrees. The induction stroke has no choice but to be after the 360 mark, because watch my hand. Here's top dead center compression, bottom dead center, top dead center exhaust. What happens at the top after you finish the exhaust stroke? What's next? Intake. Watch my hand. Piston comes down. That's your intake stroke. It has to be 360 degrees after. The first pull after the 360 mark is the pull for your reference cylinder. So this is a known good cylinder. A known good engine. And how do I know it's known good? Because they're all what? They're all even. How many cylinders are in this engine? And how do you know that? There's 4 poles. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if this was an ignition strike instead of a compression tower, and the firing order is 1, 3, 4, 2, this is 1, 3, 4, 2, and number 1 ignition strike again. However, here's number 1 intake pole. 1, 3, 4, 2. Do you guys understand that? Why it's offset? Does that make sense? Okay, so let's move on. So again, here's what catches my eye. I say the orange poles indicates all the pistons heading south. Oops. A pull, a pull, 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 pull. The red pull is the pull for this cylinder's induction stroke. Do you guys see that? As the piston descends, we're pulling a vacuum on the manifold. That is what we want to do for comparison, to compare. We want to see which one of these poles is not like the other.